Hello lovely people, welcome to your pick a card. This is for singles. It's about your next love connection. Okay, you'll see in front of us we've got 3 painted pebbles. We have the elephant, the owl and the cat. You're going to find yourself drawn to at least one of these. Okay, now for some of you it may be to do with the animal, for some of you it may be to do with the stone, for others of you it could just literally be, and I hope this is the third option really, that you just get that hunch where you think, I don't know why, but it has to be that one. I will timestamp them as well. They'll be in the description box as the elephant, the owl and the cat. We're going to look at who's coming in for you, who might be around you at the moment, and also what might be holding you back from love. What are you getting in your own way? What are the obstacles? We'll be doing channeled messages. We're going to get freaky with the information. We're going to get details and also try and find out what you can do to be in the right place at the right time to meet the right person for you. So see which one of these resonates with you, and I will see you in number 1, number 2 or number 3. Namaste. I chose the elephant, and for some reason I feel like your reading's going to be a little bit freaky. One card, a Lenormand card, just literally jumped out of the box. Oh my god, I love that for you. Oh gosh, that's one of the nicest cards to get. The dog. So when you get the dog in Lenormand, it's like the dog in lots of other ways, and you can see it from the card itself. There's something here about real loyalty. Not shallow loyalty, or I don't know, I get the feeling that I'm speaking here to a lot of people, and this is timeless by the way, but I'm speaking here to a lot of people who in your last relationship or in one very significant relationship, the loyalty was missing, but it really seemed like it should have been there. You know, it's not so much of a blow to realise somebody isn't loyal when you didn't really expect them to be. But I'm getting here that all signs were pointing to the potential of somebody having that degree of loyalty. And let's face it, loyalty is, I mean, I don't know about you, and let me know in the comments. For me, it's going to be, I don't know if it isn't the top of my list of what you would want in a relationship, what you're looking for in a person. Because it's everything, isn't it? It's security, it's I know that you're on my side. Also, I'm getting a message just for a few of you, literally about a dog. So you may have a dog, the other person in your future connection may have a dog. If there is, and this is weird to get these details so early on, but stuff it, let's go with it. We love a detail. Anything to do with walking, so walking club, dog walking parks, anything to do with dog walking or just normal walking would be really good for you. But also this dog seems, I'm really getting a channeled message, almost the dog sniffing you out first. You know, in 101 Dalmatians, the film, which is a really nice film actually, even if you've read the book, and the 2 dogs, I think the male dog falls in love with the female dog in the park and it brings the owners together. I'm getting that, and if you don't even have a dog, it could just be you end up sat next to somebody in a park who has a dog and the dog sniffs you and likes you. Or, you know, if you've been thinking of getting a dog, maybe now's your moment. But this is a very nice card to get if you're wondering about your next connection, if you're thinking about how to align yourself, because this reading as well is to help you to align yourself towards being in alignment, so somebody can be in the same place as you and find you. And what I'm really getting for you, and it really, the elephant really chimes with this as well. You know, elephants don't forget, and you have that thing where elephants go back. If an elephant has died, and the tribe kind of goes back and sniffs out the old bones, and, you know, they mourn and they remember. And loyalty and remembering are very, very linked. So whether you know this or not, and I suspect you do, because I suspect here I'm talking to empaths and I'm talking to people whose own loyalty has gone ignored at times. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like your expectations may have been lowered over the years, which you might, in lots of ways in our life, if we lower our expectations, it can be very useful because it's less painful and you're more likely to get what you want. But I think what's been happening, the history of your love life, or maybe just your last relationship, you will know, your expectations were managed down. And in order to meet and align with somebody who has these qualities, you need to first offer loyalty to yourself, and very fiercely, and this may have been happening to you since your last relationship anyway, where you've really realised who you are and what you want, and at the same time you've realised who you're not and what you don't want. And that's, again, it seems simple, but it's not simple. Don't underestimate how much loyalty means to you, and don't undersell to somebody else when you meet them that quality. And don't be ashamed that that's what you're looking for. I'm also picking up shame, but I'll look at that in a couple of shadow cards in a bit. So I'm getting brown eyes here. I am getting soulful brown eyes. I feel, or green, or greeny brown. You know, when those hazel, people have those gorgeous eyes where they're kind of bit hazily brown. So if you're looking for how you're going to recognise your next, I just had a thought then of you going on a date and like, well, I'll just have to give you a sniff. Believe it or not, actually, think of yourself in terms of, dogs' sense of smell is really powerful, and it's how they judge things, and it's definitely how they judge people. So don't scoff at that. It's the next person, you're gonna know when they lean over or when you're in their vicinity, and they're gonna smell right, and you're gonna smell right to them. There's a lot here about sniffing each other out. Okay, I love that. That's a crackingly good start. Let's put Doggy in the corner, and let's take some lovely tarot to go with it. Just going to take a few of these gorgeous sarsaparilla tarot and see. I'm getting, for some of you, and I don't know how you'll feel about this either, because I know there are a lot of feelings here about online dating and things like that. But I'm getting, if you are open to online dating, and I know, honest to God, I know the traps and the pitfalls and everything, but however you're looking at meeting people, this person, your next connection, it would need to get face to face as soon as possible, or nose to nose. And I don't mean that in a sort of, you know, chewing each other's faces off kind of a way, but hey, you know, you do you. But more, it's very important that you can look them in the eye. Like eye contact, going to be very important. So if you're dating at the moment on and off, when you meet them, if they can't, or even if you can't maintain the eye contact with them, they're not going to be the one. And that's not to say you might not have a nice coffee and, you know, you could be dating a few people before you meet the one, but you're going to know because they're either going to remind you of a dog you have or had, or they have eyes that look more like animal eyes. They have that look. And deer have it, and squirrels have it, and not so much foxes. Foxes' eyes are really beady, so I don't mean foxes, but dogs have it, certain dogs, where their eyes are just so relaxing. So that's part of how you're going to know. But in order to know that, you're really going to have to be nose to nose, snout to snout, face to face, trunk to trunk. Yeah. Okay, let's put that there. I've pulled 2 9s so far, and I'm feeling this energy for you as well. 9 of Pentacles is finding yourself, you know, when you get to that point, and sometimes it isn't even when it is that good, but you're at a point where you're maybe talking to your girlfriends, or you're just thinking to yourself, or whoever it is you're talking to, and you're just thinking, I'm kind of done. Maybe you've been on, like, and I hear you, some horrific dates, a string, maybe 2 back to back. I'm just thinking back, and I remember those days, yeah. And you're swearing off dating again. You're thinking, God, don't make me get back out there, that kind of thing. When you get the 9 of Pentacles, it's a funny thing because it means you could live without a partner. And that means you're close to meeting one. It's that sort of, and you know what it's like. If you don't shave your legs, if you don't care, then obviously the universe serves something up. And when you do care, nothing to be seen. It's tumbleweeds. So it's also very important. I think you've been doing work on yourself recently, and let that work continue. Because your next love connection is somebody, and I think you've had trouble with this in the past, that truly recognises you as a full individual. And I'm really speaking to the empaths here as well. It's very important that you don't give in to your desire to merge with another. Often empaths in their daily lives spend a lot of time merging energy with other people, because that's how you're empaths. You can train yourself to protect your energy more, but actually a lot of empaths just like exchanging energy with lots of different people, and, you know, not feeling like there's such a kind of ready brick border between you and somebody else. But this is a person who can respect a boundary. And weirdly, you're ready to set one. And that's an interesting coincidence. And I'm getting a hunch, and I'll just be straight with you about this. I'm getting a hunch that you may have 1 or 2 dates with quite unsuitable candidates before you reach that person who's right for you, the person with the soulful animal eyes. Because sometimes when you really need to align with something or someone, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this could be, as far as there ever is, the one, as in somebody you could really connect with on a long-term basis. That's the vibe that I'm getting for you, and I'm really pleased to get that vibe. But you may have to sniff a few dogs to get there, okay? So don't be put off by that. So I'm going to say to you, whatever you're doing to get out there, keep doing it. Don't be put off, because the couple of people leading up to the one are just going to be messengers. They're just messengers. They're not the person, but they have their value. There's a lesson that each of those, and it depends where you're at in terms of your Nine of Pentacles. If you're still feeling quite incomplete in terms of your own identity, maybe you had a breakup and you haven't quite built yourself back up yet, that can happen. Always reminds me of that song Gracelands, when he says, you know, losing love is like a window in your heart. Everyone can see you're blown apart. It's that kind of feeling. So this is about putting yourself back together again, so that you will be tested. The universe will test you. It's going to test you with a couple of either dodgy dates, as in, you know, when you get there and you think, I can just about do 45 minutes of this, or in a way worse, where you think this is quite nice, but I'm not really feeling it. Know that you are moving up the emotional ladder with each of those encounters, and that when this person comes into the room, there's a reason why you're ready for it, and there's a reason why they're there. It's like you're calling them in. I love this. We've got the Nine of Wands, which is boundaries. This person is a very boundaried person, but you also need to be the same in terms of, think about what it's like to own a dog, okay, or to train a puppy. There's a lot of love involved, but there's also a lot of boundaries involved. And the puppy responds to boundaries with love. So the two things mixed together. And I'm getting that for you with this person. Could be somebody who's involved in teaching. That's just a complete channeled message. Let's take a couple more cards. I like your reading. I like your reading, elephant people. Okay, there will be an extended reading for each of these. So there'll be one for the elephant, one for the cat, one for the owl as well. And in the extended reading, I just get freakier with the details. We carry on channeling and we look at obstacles, but also anything we need to know that's just deeper. It's a smaller group of people and we're dealing with a smaller collective consciousness. So we just get the chance to go a little bit crazy, actually. So if you want that, that will be linked in the description box as well. Ooh. Temperance, and one fell on the floor. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm definitely dealing with empaths. This is a person that will appreciate feminine energy. And I don't necessarily mean that in a sort of, you know, dressing feminine or whatever kind of a way. I mean that in a really deep way. So I mean in terms of, I feel like what's happening with you is you've just got nothing left to prove, which is an incredibly powerful position to be in. And in the meantime of going on your dodgy dates, or the dates that will lead up to this, or just as you're hearing this reading, it would be a really good idea to do some, I call it work, but it's not work. Do some work on getting into your feminine energy. Both Temperance and the High Priestess are about accessing your intuition. And I feel like you may have come to a point in your last relationship or in a difficult relationship where you have wondered why your radar is so off. And the reason why it's been off is because you don't trust your feminine energy. Because feminine energy is really difficult in the 3D world that we live in. It's not particularly rewarded. You know, it doesn't look good in the media. It's not portrayed in the very powerful Empress, High Priestess, Temperance energy that it should be. And also you might have found it wasn't met with divine masculine energy in your relationships. This person is going to be comfortable with both leading and following in different phases. they're not, I want to say they're not alpha, but I don't mean that in a difficult way, but they're not alpha. And you may have gone for very alpha types because of your own feminine energy. And it is possible, and this person, when they arrive, your relationship will have an exchange of energy. But your feminine energy will be very much appreciated. In terms of, I'm getting teacher vibes, so I'm getting that this person could be an instructor or a teacher. Also could be working in physical education, so maybe someone who works like an osteopath or a chiropractor. Somebody who is, interested in how the body works in some way as well, or how the mind works. So it could be a therapist, psychiatrist, or just somebody who teaches things at whatever level. 3 cards just flew out for you. I knew you were going to get the Empress. There she is. Yeah, I love this. Okay, we've got the 4 of Wands down at the bottom. You could have a really happy home with this person. This is a person who, they may work in real estate as well. But this is a person that you could easily live with. Now, we can love who we love, we can fancy who we fancy. But sometimes you just can't stand living with that person. And it's the little things that get you down. This is the opposite. You will be very harmonious with this person. That's just happy coincidence and good luck. And that's what the 4 of Wands does. It's compatibility that's just lucky. So I don't tend to question that. I just think to myself, well, that's fine. You know, me and this person live together really well. Woohoo. So just take that as a win. You've got the Empress energy, and that is you. That is you. This is all you. The Empress, Temperance, High Priestess. It's important for you to be dating with intentional feminine energy. It's important for you to believe your hunches. Your hunches will lead you to this person. Whether those hunches are about whether somebody is good or bad. Okay, so imagine in your dating life, you won't waste time now carrying on a date when your hunch is telling you something is off. You're not going to be attracted to the people that you had to ignore the hunches and the red flags to carry on with. Now, like I said, this might take a couple of other people first. A couple of other people that hopefully gets better with each date. They're not the one, but you feel less red flag warnings until you just feel that so soulful connection without the red flags at all. But like I said, I think it's like 3 different people to date before you meet this person. This is the 4 of Wands. This is the 4th person. So see this as a bit of a project as well. But it's worth it. Then we have the Knight of Cups. This person, you're not going to be wondering about whether they're attracted to you. They are heading straight for you here with the cup. So this is a person that at the end of your date, or even in the middle of it, will ask you on another date. There won't be any of this 3 days before they can text you rules or any of that sort of stuff. It's not that kind of sort of competitive vibe. It's not what they're like. it feels, I'm going to take one of these cards from here as well. Oh, gosh. Yeah, it feels very natural, very easy, like a very lived in relationship right from the start. So it's not like you're going to need to sort of get used to this person. And also, I feel like, I'll give you that card in a minute. There's no tricks up their sleeve. And you're not going to feel the need to do any of yours. If there are certain things that you do, you're going to be so relaxed with this person as well that you're not even going to be putting yourself sort of on show in that first date. You're going to feel like you could really kick your shoes off and just talk. It's comfortable, but still there's an attraction. I'm getting a letter J as well coming through, so just make a note of that as well. But I'm also getting, in terms of High Priestess, the Empress and Temperance, you could be calling this person in already. And if you haven't yet tried this, be doing some love meditations. There's loads here on YouTube that you can find. Calling in love type meditations, because they're really going to work for you. I get the feeling that you're already calling this person in. I just took some, what are these called? Messages from the spirits of nature. I can never say this right. We get the sequoia tree, which is balance. And that's a balance of power and also a balance of masculine and feminine energy. We get dolphin, which is listening. And we get the eagle, which is vision. This is somebody that you may not even be aware that you're calling in. I love this for you. Let's have a look at the Lover's Path Oracle for you too. In the extended reading for this, I'm going to go further into channeled messages. I'm going to look further at the elephant and the dog. I'm going to look at what might be holding you back in terms of past relationships and the energy that you're carrying at the moment. And then we're just going to channel some freaky details. I love channeling freaky details, and I feel like because you're empaths, we're going to be able to do that. Ooh, yes. You get the locket, guarded emotions and seeking trust. Trust and loyalty go hand in hand. It's time for you. Yeah. Fresh perspective, inviting change. It's time for you to leave behind a pattern that, although it's been different people that you may have had relationships with, the pattern has been the same, and the pattern has been a lack of loyalty. Yeah, look here. Cunning and the need for clarity or vigilance. And this fox is interesting, because do you remember when I was talking about the eyes? And I was going through different animals, and I thought about the fox, and a fox does not have those soulful eyes. It has these beady eyes. You have had a fox in the hen coop before. And I'll have a look in the extended in the shadow section here. I'm going to actually do some cards on this fox. That's a person from your past where there was an on-again, off-again situationship. And their energy is still making you question yourself and whether you can trust people. So we're going to have a little look at that too. Okay? And then we're going to channel some freaky details about who you're calling in. Woohoo! So all the links are in the description box. Lovely reading for you though. Absolutely and utterly love that card. and I will see you on the other side. Namaste. You chose the owl, and here it is with its little owlet companion. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, I am being called to take for you a rather strange oracle card first, so let's just do that and see what that wants to tell you. Owls are associated with wisdom, of course. Ooh, that's interesting. And you get the Fool's Embrace, transmuting pain. This is a really interesting card to get. There's something here, when it talks about transmuting pain, pain is obviously a difficult thing. And pain, when it comes to our patterns, our love life, and our divine feminine, actually, I feel like this is some kind of attempt to protect yourself from the other shoe dropping. And that may be that you had, in fact, I'm feeling that you had one traumatically difficult relationship that you need to recalibrate from still, even though it might have been ages ago. It feels as though you have a new cycle waiting to open up to you in your love life. And initially you are going to resist it and want to stay in this stance of holding yourself together because you've done that for so long and you've done it alone. And you have had to do it, I think. And that's not an easy place to be coming from. Nice. Now, here's your new cycle. Fortune's wheel, luck and right timing. I am loving that for you. This isn't easy, even though it's really nice looking, even though it's, you know, it's what you want. You want a new cycle, and it's the next one on to that card. That's amazing, because this is a very well shuffled deck. I'm going to take you a third one in a minute. Now I know why I needed to use this deck for you, owl people. You are very intelligent. You are intellectually intelligent. You are emotionally intelligent. You may be able, let's say you went to a therapist, you could talk well in that therapy session. But there's more here about this all-body somatic need for you to release in order to get onto this next wheel of literally fortune, luck, the right timing, the right person at the right time in the right place. I think before you may have had the wrong person in the right time at the wrong place, or, you know, any one of those. This one feels very strong. Yeah. The unmarked trail, the revelation. Okay, so think of this as, apart from it being about your love life and your future connection, it's also, your future connection is like a quest. This person, this relationship is like a quest. And you are starting off as the Fool, you know, and you could imagine, although that looks like someone, you know, when they're holding themselves together, you could be doing one of those like dive bombs, you know, you're like, come on, let's go. Because you're bringing with you, and we do this in relationships, and you will do this into your next relationship. You will bring your pain into the next relationship. Everywhere we go, there we are. But there's something of an unmarked trail. There's something of an untrodden path about this one that I really fancy the look of for you. Let's get some tarot out. Let's get some tarot out. Love it. Okay. What do we need to know? Sometimes your cleverness might get in the way. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You're clever. You know, you have I don't know if you have a high IQ or just a very sharp mind, but you can and you may overthink it. Yes. Justice. Oh, I really like that though. I really like that you got justice. I tell you why. I feel like what's happened to you before was unfortunate. I think how we're using that word, unfortune, not Wheel of Fortune, but also classically unfair. When you get justice, and I feel like you may be calling in an air sign person, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I felt that anyway because of the owl, and the owl generally, in fact, the owl is very often on the Justice card, representing Libra. So, especially in things like the Mythic Tarot, owls are very much associated with the Justice card, but also because that's like the sword of truth. We have air sign energy. So I am getting air sign energy. I know some of you are going to groan and go, no! Now I'm definitely getting air sign energy. The Magician for me, I associate particularly with Aquarius and with Gemini, and Justice is the Libra card. So I'm getting air sign energy. Now, it could mean, because we haven't pulled enough cards yet, it can mean air sign person, quite literally, but it can also mean meeting through air sign type things or occupation, such as online. I know. And it depends on your star sign, it depends on your tastes, but online would be a great place to meet this person if you can bring yourself. I know all the pitfalls of online dating, I do understand. And it doesn't have to be online dating. It can be in groups, it can be in forums, it can be, let's say, for example, you go along to some kind of evening class or something, and there's a WhatsApp group for the evening class. It would be really good for you to get into the WhatsApp group. So anything where you can get into a digital group or a thinking group, even if it was like, you know, the Meetup app where you can go on meetups with people, not the dating one, but just the normal kind of meetup, where you can go along. I really recommend it as well. I think it's global. But you can go along to, I don't know, philosophy, and people talk about that, or there's a book club on there, or there's a riding thing for bikes, or people do all sorts on Meetup. But I could see you meeting your future connection through something cerebral, through the internet, through something on an app, through WhatsApp, through Facebook, through messages, that kind of thing. I'm getting a very, you know, in those 80s films when occasionally they used to they wanted to show you that data was happening, and there'd be this flash where they'd show you sort of lines of binary numbers going down a screen, and sort of just lines of numbers disappearing, usually green on black. I'm getting that. I'm getting a real digital feel for this relationship. Even if you're massively old school and that isn't your style. It could even be you go to a thing, let's say like the Apple Store does, I don't know if you know this, but the Apple Store does free classes you can go to. In my case, literally to learn how to switch on my phone and actually take a call on it. But you know what I mean. You go along to one of those, and it opens something up for you. Or you need something fixed and you go into the Apple Store, or you go to a computer shop, or you go wherever it is. There's a real emphasis here on digital, even if you're not into that. Love that we've got the Magician with the full moon. Ooh, there it is. 5 of Cups. That is that. You're not going to get away from that. You're going to be, you know, with the 5 of Cups, it's often very tempting to say, what do you need to leave behind? you can't leave this behind for some reason. And sometimes that's all right, whether it was a bad relationship or something just so bad that it got you really burnt. Sling it on the back of your horse and keep going into your next relationship. This is something you may need to bring with you, but you need to be aware of what it is, okay? The person you are going to meet is an intellectual person. The process is banter. Nice. That is nice. That's such a nice card. You know, good looking guy and some really nice crockery. Good combo, I have to say. This is, by the way, in case you want to know, the Nightshade Tarot that I'm using by Hattie Thorne. Okay, I'm so glad you got this card. Jupiter in Pisces, the Nine of Cups. So this is a card about what you want wants you. Somebody out there is seeking somebody with a unique kind of mind, and that unique kind of mind is yours. It's not... The person is going to have quite sharp features, as in they're going to have bone structure, you know, like proper cheekbones. Like, I'm trying to think. Well, like this guy has, I suppose, a bit. But someone whose face is quite angular. They have definition. They have a strong face. And I'm imagining like a Roman nose as well for you here with this person. So the nose beginning more between the eyebrows. You know, a strong nose, a strong face, cheekbones, quite prominent, straight teeth, but quite big teeth, straight big teeth, almost like making their mouth very noticeable, this person. I'm liking this a lot. You could definitely meet this person at any kind of discussion group. Like, I know on the meetup they have people who meet up to talk about philosophy or books or anything like that. But also equally, it could be someone, I mean, I don't play online games, but you know, like people do play each other at chess or Scrabble or Wordle or things like that. It could be that. It could be on Facebook and it's a friend of a friend, or just somebody where there's an exchange of knowledge going on. You're very bright, you have a lot of knowledge. They're very bright, they have a lot of knowledge. I'm loving this. But I'm not getting libraries. I'm not getting old buildings, you know, places where you might go and open sort of big leather-bound books and all. I'm not getting that at all. No, I'm getting USB sticks, binary numbers, air sign energy, also possible fire sign energy, and I have no idea why because it's not even here. But with an air sign feel, definitely with an air sign feel. Fantastic. Come on. Yes. Eight of Pentacles. You could, for some of you, you could work with this person. Either literally they work at your work, but otherwise you could get your heads together. You'd be amazing in business together. You have a busy mind. They have a busy mind. I feel like there could be a lot of talking, but that talking, of course, can be online. So it can be in the form of texting. It can be in the form of wordplay. Or even, I'm getting also musician and sending each other songs. So musician has come into it as well. Interesting. You have to be careful with musicians though, so do be careful. But I have to give it you because it's come into my head. You and they have similar verbal patterns to each other. Very fascinating. People will want to invite you to dinner parties. This could also be at a friend's do, like the most unexpected thing, where you go to a friend's thing that you probably don't want to go to, and they're on the periphery. Somehow you end up getting their number, or you end up in a group they're in, or a social thing that you're in, that you're in and they're in, and you sidebar chit chat. Ace of Cups. I'm loving this for you, I have to say. This may not be... No, that's wrong. Okay, I'm getting this. This may be your normal type, and that might frighten you, as in you may have always gone for very intellectual people before, but you've totally got burnt by it. That's as may be. You are not veering massively from your type. This is not like a kind of revelation reading for you, those who chose the owl, who where you sort of change your worldview on relationships, and I was always dating like this, and this was my type. No, this person is also your type, but I can't say it on it, but they're not a... How can I put that without swearing on YouTube? You know what I mean. They're not full of SH1T. They're just genuinely clever, geeky, but geeky, good geeky. You know what I mean? Good geeky. You're quite geeky underneath. Get your geek on. This is getting your geek on. Let me take, I want a couple of Love Oracle cards. In the extended reading, I'm going to drill down into what might be holding you back. Okay, because we need to do that, and we need to clear obstacles. But I'm also going to do a lot more channeled messages about your person, and get specific, and get some names and dates and times, and why not? And maybe I will look at some, I've got some astrological cards as well that I'll look at. I'm not guaranteeing it's going to move out of the air sign thing. Not guaranteeing it, but it might. Because I am getting fire sign a bit, which is weird because it really hasn't come up. But that doesn't mean I'm not always getting that hint. This is a love that can start in the head and move to the heart. You will fancy this person from the get-go, though. They are your type. That may set off your alarms, but you know, it is what it is. They are your type. I don't know about that one. No wonder I didn't know about that one. That's so weird. I took this card. I'll take the bottom one then. Yes. I took that card, and sometimes, you know, those of you that are tarot readers, you take in a card and you're like, oh, I don't know about this one. The distorted feminine. Yes, that's the same as the Fool's Embrace card. There is some cleansing work, some clearing work, some repair of the feminine energy for you that is needed, that is deeply, deeply, deeply needed. Okay, and I will look at that as well. This card, very much more straightforward, is compatibility. This is a person you are going to be very compatible with. You are going to share a sense of humour, but you're also going to share a love of things that are quite complex, including each other. Mysteries, discoveries, history, but again, not history in old buildings. We're talking maybe like even watching sort of on history programs on the TV type thing, but things that are quite geeky, you're going to really respect about each other. You could definitely meet them at a convention of some kind, or a work thing. You know, like when you have to go away for work. That would also fall under this category. This is not someone you're going to meet in a touchy-feely, we were walking by the sea. It's not that kind of thing. You may end up doing that, but that's not how you meet them. You meet them through air sign things. So it's communication, it's online mostly, even if you take it then offline. It's digital geeky love, baby. I love this for you, and I love that. I'm going to look at that Ace of Cups and the extended as well. If you want the extended reading, they are in the description box of this video, and that's where you can pick it up. And I'm off to do that now. So I'll see you on the other side. Namaste, owl people. Hello, you chose the cat. This lovely little cat here with the full moon and the tree. It's gorgeous, this one. I've got a bit of a sweet spot for this, actually. And for some reason, I'm really compelled to take an Ocean Oracle card for you. So you're having one of these first. And it will all become apparent as to why. Ooh, I love an octopus. Okay, you get octopus. Trust your intuition. That's interesting that you get that. Octopuses, because I've watched a few programs about octopus. I'm a little bit obsessed with them, actually. I've seen, it's My Octopus Teacher, if you want to watch it. It's on Netflix. Amazing. Let me know in the comments. Drop me an octopus in the comments if you've seen it. This octopuses can change according to their surroundings. It's amazing. I just love that they do it. Other fish and things do it as well. So there's this kind of almost chameleon-like change. And that's really relevant for you for some reason, and I don't know quite what yet. You may have somebody in the wings already, as in this is about your next connection. But I feel like for some of you, yeah, they're hiding in plain sight, which may mean that you've already met them, literally. I know it's come up for a couple of the other ones. You may have met them like 5D, like even past life. But for you, you may have had a sort of maybe on-off thing, or it's a friend where there's a flirt or something like that. Okay, this is interesting. You get the seagull, opportunities await, and you also get the rope, which is healthy boundaries. Now, if you've got a lot of water in your chart, or if you're Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio energy, then your boundaries are probably a lot more kind of internal. This is how I think. I'm a Pisces, and this is how I think of water sign people's boundaries. So if you have your sun, your moon, your rising, your Venus even in a water sign, there's something here about this is a relationship that may start as a friendship, but may go either side of a line. Almost if you imagine trying to say that that is a line, it's like, let's draw the line. You know, let's just be friends, for example, or let's see where it goes, or let's, I don't even know what, but that is drawing the line. But it's not a line because the sea has wave and current, and it kind of moves. It's shifting sands, and it's change, and it's the ability to morph with that change. I like this. All of this appeals to me, but I wonder where it's coming from. So let's get some tarot going. And it's interesting because the deck that I chose to use for you, cat people, and there will be an extended reading, by the way, and I'll be using a different deck in the extended reading. But in this reading, I chose the Enchanted Veil deck, which is all about things being kind of either side of a veil, things being separated only by something invisible or very, very sort of gossamer thin. You've got the Four of Cups. This is funny, actually. I know what I'm getting. And the Chariot. I'm getting a very interesting... Let me just put our little cat friend up there. Getting a very interesting vibe. You know, in rom-coms where they don't like each other at the beginning. I'm getting a bit of a vibe of that, which is interesting. So the Four of Cups is kind of emotional neutral, you know, neither sort of here nor there, not completely struck by something. It's not snap your knicker elastic at 10 paces, here's the chemistry. It's more of a sort of, you know, it's introverted and contemplative, and it's a grower, not a shower. Let's just put it that way. I was trying to be nice and spiritual, but I can't. It's a grower, not a shower. The Chariot is when, again, you're kind of hedging your bets. You're trying to ride two horses with one arse. And you can't. Well, you can if you get a chariot. I know. So there's something here about glancing the lines for you with your next connection. I feel like it's someone who is already in your presence in some way. So it could be a friend of a friend. It could be a friend of yours that's just like an acquaintance. It could, for some of you, and you will know about the vibe if you're sort of, when you experience it, it could be for some of you that it's someone who reminds you of someone you know. But for others of you, it is someone you know. This could possibly be an ex, but if it's an ex, it's not an ex from a whole relationship. It can only be really, for me, the vibe is of an ex where maybe you went out 2 or 3 times. That, you know, like where it didn't quite cross the line. And then the Eight of Swords. This next connection is a challenge mentally. It's a challenge for you. Interesting that you chose the cat when I think of, well, cats are kind of notoriously independent in a way that dogs aren't. And I feel like you may have a real streak of independence, which even if you're a very, you know, touchy-feely person in relationships, there's something about choosing that little pebble with the cat on that sets you aside a little bit. Tell me a bit about this person, please. Oh my God. 2 of Cups. That's nice. I was not expecting that. You know, full disclosure, was not expecting you to get the 2 of Cups for that person. Okay. This person may be a challenge to you in a way that you wouldn't expect. Even if you feel that you are like 100% up for a relationship, there is still a part of you, and I don't know if I want to use the word avoidant for you, not for them, okay? Maybe you have experienced some disappointing relationships with people who you maybe really trusted at the time, you know, where it was actually a green light all the way, and then all of a sudden a kind of soggy amber to red. You know, those sorts of things where you think, well, I wasn't the one that pushed this forward. I wasn't the one who love bombed. You were. And I feel like you may I can understandably have grown a second skin and developed an avoidance of trusting people. And I get it completely. And, you know, trust your intuition for the octopus, I think, is your definite talisman card. You're a complicated cat, for want of a better word. And you know what cats are like. They do want love, don't they? But sometimes Cats are naturally mistrustful. I know mine are, even though they love me, sort of. One of them thinks I'm a spare, but they are naturally mistrustful. So, when I ask about your person, we get hit between the eyes with the Two of Cups. Two of Cups is here I am. Now I've got that. Is it the Scorpions? Rock you like a hurricane. Rock you like a hurricane, baby! Here I am. Okay, that's probably not relevant to your reading, but you never know. Let me know in the comments section if it is. This is not messing around, the Two of Cups. This person will ask you out. They will ask you out. They will not play games. They will ask you out. You are a challenge to this person. Oh my God. Woof, meow and a neigh. This is pretty good. I don't really want you to miss this, if I'm honest. Yeah. You better get your head out your arse and head over for this one, as my mum would say. Six of Wands, winner winner, chicken dinner or vegan alternative. Come on. Two of Cups goes into the Six of Wands. I'm here for this and I'm loving it. So what do you need to do? What do we need to do to put ourselves in this arena? To move ourselves from nah, or I am done with dating, or, you know, real love doesn't exist, or any of the other kind of doubts that we have when we're sat under a tree at the full moon, you know, those sorts of things. And limiting beliefs. Yeah, that. It's a very nice Three of Swords, but it is a Three of Swords. I would say, and this is just a hunch on my part, you may have trapped trauma in the body or have come from a difficult upbringing where showing love was not rewarded. And that's when we come to the Three of Swords, it's like old hurts that have not been unravelled. This sort of barbed wire around the heart is reminding me of this rope, which, although it is a boundary, it's complicated. It's underwater. You can't really see it. It's tangled. And that is your... that is your blessing and your curse in a way. You're interesting. You're tangled. You're complex. You're emotionally very complex. And that is, of course, very enticing and interesting to somebody else. This person is quite simple. You're going to think that they're hiding something or they've got a trick up their sleeve. They haven't. The trick is, there is no trick. They don't have a trick up their sleeve. That's the beauty of it, in a way, to be fair. That's the beauty of it. I like this. That's difficult. What can we do to get out of this, please? Let's have a shadow card. What can we do to get out of this? I think I might need to use Brian and Wendy Frood for you, actually, when I do the extended reading. That's a deck that I've got that is very sort of shadowy forest deck. Oh, that's such a nice card to get. That's such a nice card to get. It's such a card of hope. That one wants to come out. That's pretty decent as well, actually. Right, what do we need to do about the Three of Swords? We get the Star. What hopes and dreams am I neglecting? How can I reconnect with my inner guidance and trust the universe to lead me? Octopus, trust your intuition. And then the Eight of Pentacles, doing the work. How can I embrace the journey of learning and skill building as a path to personal fulfillment? What work do I need to do to untangle the barbed wire around my heart? But do you know what I just got as a channeled message, which is incredibly sweet and very nice, is that this person wants to help untangle that. They are a softie. Good old-fashioned softie. And I feel like it's just what you need. But when you meet them, this is going to be... It's more a case that they're already there, but you're going to recognise them rather than meet them, is what I get. Which is a weird kind of sensation. It's very interesting. You may already know who I'm talking about, literally. Let me just take a couple of these Love Oracle cards. I knew you had to have that Ocean Oracle. I was really surprised when I was like, do I really want to get that deck out? I do. Okay. Serendipity, which is great. The Sacred Woman. And Maturity. Oof. This is weird. This is like your younger self calling in someone who is now appropriate for the woman or person that you have become. Okay? We've got serendipity, so it's time, and it wasn't time before. So this could be someone where it was right person, wrong time before, or it could just be somebody who you've never really thought of in your orbit. Serendipity will bring you together to be in the right place at the right time. So right person, right time. That's just luck. That's not something you have to work for. It's not something, that's better. Not something that you need to, you know, think, what do I need to do to make this happen? Oh, that's weird. Camera went a bit weird then. It's not you, it's the camera. When we have the Sacred Woman, this is you. You have matured beyond who you used to be, and also beyond the person that your childhood created. What you don't know, or what you haven't fully felt, is that you're really, really ready to meet someone who can meet you where you are now, not where you were then. And this person is like a messenger sent to fit that bill. You would not, that's it. See, we've got Maturity as the third one. If they had showed up, God, I don't like the way that transition is doing that. If they'd showed up 5-10 years ago, or even a year ago, you wouldn't have recognised them. You wouldn't have noticed them. You wouldn't have seen them. But you're a different person. You still have work to do on this kind of haunting Three of Swords. And we have the Star, which is about manifesting. It's about hopes and dreams and still choosing to believe. But you're available now for something you couldn't see before. And they wouldn't have seen you either. The way to meet this person, you don't have to try and plan it. This is happenstance and serendipity, a lot of it. You can help it by tapping into certain elements, like the sea and water are going to be a thing, I can tell. But I'm going to go so far as to say this is destiny. I don't use that word very often. Who knows, I might use the word journey in a minute, but I don't use the word destiny or journey if I can possibly help it. And here we are, I'm doing it. like this for you a lot. You've earned it, even though you don't feel like you have. This is something different, but it was waiting for you all along. They were waiting for you all along. Woof! In the extended reading, woohoo! I'm going to look at the shadow side. I'm going to have a look at the Brian and Wendy Freed cards and just see if there's anything in between, if there's anything you can tweak that will get you there in more easily. If there's any details we can pick up about this person as well and channel messages about them. Things like letters of their name, places they might be, and any other weird stuff that comes into the channeling, okay, about your person. It is the first link in the description box underneath to find the extended readings. Yeah, I'm going to go and do some weird stuff. I'll see you on the other side. Namaste.